2 days away from the start of the National Football League. It feels like we were just crowning a champion in Super Bowl. What was that number, man? 59? Yeah, because we're going to Super Bowl 60 in Levi Stadium here in San Francisco, California, where I currently live. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us here at Prime Sports World. We're going to. Do I have the wrong graphics up here? Hold on. Hold on. I will fix that in a second. But yeah, we're going to break down our week number 1 and give you all of our predictions. So if you're playing like in a pickup league, you go with any of our predictions. Also, we got the Daily Blitz.blog himself, Mr. Christian Simpson in the house, who's going to join us, give us some of his shameless plugs. And I'm joined by my co-host, TJ Hopkins. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast you like we're doing here at Prime Sports World. And I'm admittedly, I guess, a little bit rusty because it's been a while since I hosted podcast regularly. But yeah, thanks, gentlemen. How you guys doing? What's the good word?
Man, yo, you got a tan. You looking like me over there a little bit.
Yeah.
And CJ, what did we say we was gonna do before every show?
Nothing's changed.
But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Week number 1. Real quick before we get into week number 1, the off-season stuff. What's been the most interesting thing you think has happened this off-season before we get into week number 1?
Man, seeing running backs get those extensions, like Saquon Barkley deserved every penny of that extension that he got. The Eagles wouldn't be where they were last year if it weren't for number 26. And then also seeing Derrick Henry get his coins as well. And that I think just a couple weeks ago, the Commanders doing everything not to lose Terry McLaurin. Like, Terry McLaurin is so important to that Washington offense. He's a true number 1. He's consistent. I'm not saying he's an upper echelon wide receiver. He's not at the table.
He is. I mean, he's probably in the top 5 somewhere.
Nah, he's top 10, I'll say, but I don't know about top 5. You know what I'm saying? But he's Mr. Consistency. He's like he reminds me of Steve Smith Sr. a little bit. A little bit smaller, but plays bigger than he appears in stature. Yeah, and I'm just happy that it's back. We did College Football Showdown on Friday. I brought back Monday Evening Quarterback yesterday. That new episode will be shared soon, and now I'm back to do the prime with you guys and TJ.
For me, I mean, we just talked about it last week on Thursday. That Micah Parsons trade, I just came out of absolutely left field. I know we broke it down, so we're not going to get super into it, but I didn't see it coming. I kind of always assumed that Dallas and Micah Parsons would eventually come to an agreement, and he would be on that football team to this season. The fact that he's a Green Bay Packer now was shocking. TJ.
I guess the most shocking thing to me is just how cheap franchises are still cheap.
Yeah.
Right?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati for sure. I said it when we broke down the Michael Parsons trade. Like, Jerry Jones refuses to understand it. Like, this is 2025, bruh. Handshake deals don't exist anymore. A handshake, like 40 years ago when you bought the Cowboys, handshake deals might have meant something. In today's day and age, they mean absolutely nothing. If it's not written, if it's not signed, if it's not documented, it's nothing. That's nothing. So yeah, cheap teams continue to be cheap teams, especially a team like Cincinnati, like where what it takes to get to a Super Bowl because you've done it, yet you refuse to do the necessary things to make that easier.
Yeah, the Trey Hendrickson thing, like
you're gonna have the same problem next year.
He's going to be gone next year. He'll be.
You just delayed the problem for a year.
Well, I mean, the difference is he'll be a out and out free agent as opposed to he was under contract for one more season. So they're probably going to lose him for nothing, trade him with the trade deadline. But that seems unlikely, to say the least. But yeah, so that's kind of how we're going to start every show. We're going to look back at the week that was. We're going to give out our game balls as well. Because I can't be on the Monday shows. I got too much stuff going on. But I'm looking forward to being back on these shows, previewing these NFL games with you guys. And let's talk about week number 1. We open at night. We got the Cowboys and the Eagles coming in. Lane Johnson is going to be a healthy or unhealthy scratch from this game. Or not Lane Johnson. I can't remember who they had injured, and they're probably not going to play for the Eagles this week. I'm going to have to look it up in a second. But, Super Bowl champs, they're going to have ring night. They're going to hoist the banner. They're going up against the Dallas Cowboys, who have been the story of the offseason with all of the shenanigans, Jerry Jones and the Michael Parsons situation. So let's talk about it. Who wins opening night on ring night for the Philadelphia Eagles as they hoist up that second Vince Lombardi banner?
The NFL should really consider doing what the NBA does and just like start flexing shit. No one's gonna watch this. This is
Man, what are you
like
talking
Philly.
about? It's the opening game. This is going to be super highly watched.
David, viewership's gonna go down by halftime. Like this is not gonna be a close like that. That's probably what's gonna be like. They're probably just gonna watch it just to see how bad it gets, just so they can just see how incensed Jerry Jones is up in that box because he's gonna be there. And yeah, this is basically gonna be 3 hours of them talking about how Michael Parsons could be making plays for the Dallas Cowboy defense. Instead, he's not there. And every time the Eagles run the ball down their throats, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna show Jerry Jones. They're gonna talk about how he said trading Michael Parsons means we need to get better at the run and all that other good stuff. I'm fully expecting this to be like a 35, 21, or 24 backdoor cover by the Cowboys. I am not expecting this game to be as close as the final score will indicate. Because the Cowboys, they're good for a backdoor cover.
I do think that Dallas is going to score. Like, their offense should be electric. I mean, they still have Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and the running back situation is kind of a super big-time mess. But, I mean, like, George Pickens still on this team. Like, this should be a good offense for the Dallas Cowboys. Their defense may not be any good, but their offense should be able to score with the best of them. But I agree with you, TJ. This game should not be fairly competitive. The Eagles should win this by a couple. Let me fill it up.
David.
Oh, let's go.
David, let's go. David, let's go. And you in the West Coast now, so come on, man. You got to add a little flavor to it, baby. On my count. 1, 2, 3.
Shameless plug number 1.
That's right. Every Tuesday, I need that. Look, I think this is the best rivalry in the National Football League.
Come on. Not to cut you off, but come on. Steelers-Ravens, probably better.
But see, look, there's always something on the line when these two play. Like, it's bragging rights. I don't know if you've ever been to Philadelphia, but Cowboy Week is a different entity. They do not like the Dallas Cowboys. They got the Cowboys logo and toilets out there. You got F Dallas signs all throughout the city. Like, I've been out there and I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. But yeah, Dak Prescott's back. Yes, they did get George Pickens back, but here's my thing. I don't know if George Pickens fixes the balance issues that the Dallas Cowboys have on the offensive side of the ball. This is an offense that is predicated on running the ball, bringing a defense to the line of scrimmage, and taking a shot over the top. Dak Prescott isn't going to win you a shootout. He's not that type of quarterback, but they're paying him like he is. As far as Philly, I think they have the best offensive core in the National Football League. With Jalen and Saquon, Devontae, AJ Brown, and you can't forget the tight end, Dallas Goedert either. But with Dallas,
you combine that with one of the best offensive lines of football.
Yeah. But what Dallas needs to do, they need to come out and they need to attack this Eagles secondary because they have some question marks. I preview this one on Thursday, an hour before kickoff. Be on the lookout.
Swinging into Friday night football, we got the reigning AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs going into beautiful SoFi Stadium and taking on Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert, and the Los Angeles Chargers. Will this be the season, and will be this giving a game where the Chargers are able to get over the hump when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs? They played them competitive the last couple seasons, but actually, this game is in South Hall, somewhere not in America. I can't. I
It's
don't
in
know.
Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil. Yeah. So not in beautiful SoFi Stadium in Brazil. Najee Harris, full participant, expected to play after what was ever going on with his eye situation, even though he hasn't played. He hasn't practiced much either. On the Chiefs side, Rashee Rice, obviously that 6-game suspension. I don't know what that impact's going to be on his offense. We saw him, what it looked like without him last year. How do you think this all shakes out, Christian?
David.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go. 2 for 2, baby.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Shameless plug number 2, baby.
There you go. There you go. Come on, man. Stay on cue. Stay on cue. I think this, when Rashee Rice comes back, I think this could be the best room of wide receivers that Patrick Mahomes has ever had. I mean, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, you have Rashee Rice. One thing the Chiefs need to do a little bit more, they got to depend on Pacheco. I think he's the X factor for the Chiefs, not just in this game potentially, but for the remainder of the season. Oh, run the football. Stop putting everything on Mahomes' plate. I thought that was a little bit of the problem last year. As far as the Chargers, man, losing Rashawn Slater that's tough. I mean, he's the anchor of your offensive line, and he's been nothing but consistent since he's come into the NFL. And I want to see where the Chargers go from here, from a passing standpoint. We know they're going to run the football. That's the Jim Harbaugh staple. Run the football, play good defense. I preview this one Friday night, an hour before kickoff. Be on the lookout.
Again, they started the season with the most quarterbacks they asked the question, which quarterbacks have the most pressure going into this season? And somehow, some way, y'all know who number one was on that list. It was Caleb Williams. Again, don't ask me how. The media created the narrative. It's too late for them to change it. That's all I got to say about that. But Justin Herbert is, yeah, bro, you got a lot to prove. You got to come with it. Like, I understand you weren't like heralded like Trevor Lawrence was, right? You weren't plucked into the Hall of Fame at 14, 15, 17 years old and said you're going to get the gold jacket when it's all said and done. However, you have had great individual seasons, and they haven't amounted to anything. Your 2 playoff appearances, 1, you blew a 30-point lead. 2, you got your ass kicked in the game. You should have won. So and then you start the season with the guy who's just been terrorizing the entire division, the entire league since he's been a starter. And the Chargers looked at you and said, hey, we have our guy to match that guy. So go match that guy. It ain't going to happen on Friday night, though. Because I think the Chiefs are just going to, let little brother hang around for a little minute and then remind them that, yeah, you're little brother for a reason. Give me the Chiefs.
I'm also taking the Chiefs. I have some major concerns about the Los Angeles Chargers going into the season. It's not just like his offense. Like, yes, the Rashawn Slater injury is terrible.
Massive.
It's horrible. But I think there are a lot of questions on this offense. Like, I think the running, like Marion Hampton's coming in as a rookie. We don't know what Najee Harris is going to be. Hassan Haskins, we don't know what he's going to be either. I think there are major question marks at the wide receiving core outside of Ladd McConkey. And as TJ always says, yeah, Ladd McConkey was good in his first season as a rookie, but you got to do it again. I mean, outside of that, I mean, I really like Keenan Allen is kind of,
old.
A little bit past the prime there.
NFL old.
Yeah, NFL old. Quentin Johnston, was okay in spurts last season, but he still has problems with drops. I mean, the tight end position, Will Dissly's a fine player, but I don't think he's a needle mover in any any stretch of the imagination. And on the other side of the ball, I mean, on defense, I mean, the secondary I don't think is all that good. Like Dante Jackson's kind of your lead corner. Derwin James, he can stay healthy for another season after a great season last year. And then who's going to be the other guy outside of Khalil Mack? I mean, Joey Bosa is no longer walking through this door. Who's going to get consistent pressure? I think the Chargers are going to regress this season. And it won't have anything to do with Justin Herbert. I think he'll play well. But this is going to be a team that I think is going to struggle.
But that's my point. Like Justin Herbert's always played well.
Yeah.
It hasn't amounted to anything.
But I don't think he's good enough. Like where he could just like I don't think he's Josh Allen good. Like where he can take this like hodgepodge of pass catchers and skill position players, or Lamar Jackson good, and take that team and carry them to playoff work just on his skill alone. I just don't think he's good enough for that. And this offensive line isn't good as Baltimore's or Buffalo's. This is going to be I think it's going to be a tough year for the Chargers. Give me the.
Okay.
Swinging into Sunday afternoon football. Actually, in California, it's Sunday morning football. Kickoff is at 10 a.m. We got the division rivals, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going into Atlanta and taking on the Falcons. I don't think Chris Godwin is on the PUP list to start the season, but I don't expect him to play in this game. But, I mean, the Falcons get a full season of Michael Penix Jr. under center, the quarterback of this football team. If you talk to Izzy, he's very high on him this season. But on the first week of the season, how do you guys got this shaken out? TJ, Buccaneers, Falcons.
Again, this is the Buccaneers, division to lose. They ain't. I said it when we did. I said I think I said it last year when we did the preview then. They worried about Philly. They worried about whoever went in the North, and they worried about whoever won in the NFC West. I have zero faith in any team in this division, the Falcons included, challenging the Buccaneers for divisional supremacy. That's my pick.
I agree with you. I agree with you completely. I don't think Atlanta has enough to really challenge. The offensive line got super depleted. Caleb McGarry is now hurt. They also obviously drew Allman to the Chicago Bears. So I think this is going to be they kind of throw Michael Penix in the fire. And I do like Drake London, some of their other pass catchers, and some Bijan Robinson, in a fantasy situation. But I don't think Atlanta is going to be all that good this season. I still think they have problems with pass rush as well. I don't think they did enough to address that this offseason. Give me Tampa. Easy.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. It's a clean sweep. I like Tampa Bay, and watch out for Emeka Egbuka. He's actually my pick to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to have a huge impact.
I don't necessarily agree with that because was it Jalen McMillan? That may not be his first name. He's going to miss 10 weeks with that neck injury or whatever it is.
Yeah, and David and CJ, just having watched Emeka at Ohio State, this is a guy, he knows his role. Kind of reminds me of Jarvis Landry. Tough, can catch that pass over the middle. Yeah, as David says, this is my lock of the week.
Moving on, staying with two divisional rivals, we got the Cincinnati Bengals, fresh off giving Trey Hendrickson a little extra bag, going into Cleveland, who is taking on the Browns, obviously, with Joe Flacco under center as the quarterback of this football team. Myles Garrett, fresh off his new contract this offseason. Bengals, Browns, Christian.
This is a trap game for Cincinnati because Cleveland always seems to play the Bengals tough in Cleveland. I remember a couple years ago, I called it on the show. I'm like, I think the Browns are going to upset Cincinnati. And then that's when me and TJ got a little mad because Myles Garrett was pretending to cross somebody up, and then he hit his defender with a Euro step to get into the bet. Look, he would have to see me after that. I don't care how big he is. Look. We don't tennis that. We don't police that. The Bengals can't afford to start 0-1 once again. 0-1 will turn into 0-2 potentially, and 0-3. I like the Bengals to get a win. Cleveland's a mess right now, but these division games are always tough, and some strange reason they always seem to get up for Cincinnati. But I think the Bengals do just enough to win the
That's
game.
a nice statement calling the Browns a mess. That's
Uh,
putting it
I'm
nicely.
also taking the Cincinnati Bengals. What is something that I noticed in the preseason that kind of really stood out to me is how much the Cincinnati Bengals starters played in the preseason. So there's a definite commitment starting the season off hot, as opposed to where they slumped through the first month of the season and then they try to play catch up for the rest of the year. It hasn't worked out the last two seasons. I think Cincinnati's going to get off to a good start. This defense is going to be abysmal. They're going to have to score 30 points a game in order to win any games this season. Give me Cincinnati one. Yeah.
I'm with y'all. It's gonna be a clean sweep. Cleveland, Cincinnati should win this game like going away. Like I don't offensively, and there's no disrespect to some of them dudes offensively. It's a lot of faith y'all putting in David age Joe Flacco. That's my way of calling David old, even though David not that old.
I think I'm younger than Joe Flacco, asshole.
Not by much though. Not by much. Not by
Yeah,
much.
probably just a couple
It's
years.
a couple years. But that's a lot of faith in Joe Flacco to, hey man, I need you to match Joe Burrow. I need you to go toe to toe with Joe Burrow. And how long do you really think Joe Flacco can do that?
Well, I think the Browns are hoping that this defense will be good enough where they just need Joe Flacco to game manage. They don't necessarily need him to go out and win games. They just need them not to lose games. Like I think they're banking on the fact that they're going to have a top five.
Yeah,
And that's essentially how they made the playoffs 2 years ago. I mean, Joe
yeah.
Flacco
Joe
was good
Flacco
in
was two.
spurts, but
He was
he
2
was
years
turning the
younger
ball over.
too.
He was turning the ball over like crazy that season, and yeah,
Yeah, he was 2 years younger too.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah,
So I don't know, like, but on the Bengals side, Christian said that they can't afford to get out to another slow start. I normally say
if they would start the season like 0-2 or 0-3, I think they
again.
would give I think they would give Zach Taylor a fucking that would he
Well,
would
this
be
is also the
he
same
would be out.
team. This is also the same team that kept Marvin Lewis around for whatever reason all them years, and so yeah, I literally said they have an issue with being cheap and keeping a coach around who gets off to slow starts is right up the Bengals' alley. But that's also why they played the starters in preseason, like in the past 3 years or so, or however long Zach Taylor's been there. The starters didn't play preseason. That's still no excuse for the slow start because the system's still the same. Nothing's changed. They just got off the slow starts. But they
I
should win this.
I'm 3 years younger than Joe Flacco, so good for me.
Damn you.
Uh, moving on to not a division rival, with two football teams in the AFC. Miami Dolphins going into what is probably going to be a crapshoot of a football team this season. The Indianapolis Colts in the house that Peyton Manning built. Last time these two teams played was last season. Christian, do you remember who won this matchup? Also in the house that Peyton Manning built in 2024.
I think it was Miami.
Incorrect. The
Was it?
Indianapolis Colts actually got the victory in an absolute barn burner of a football game, 16-10. With I guess who was the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, DJ?
Who was the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins in that game? Was it Skylar Thompson?
No, it was our old friend and legend, Mr. Tim Boyle.
Hmm.
Who went 8 for 13 for 74 yards, and then he promptly got benched by Tyler Huntley. Anthony Richardson actually played quarterback for the Colts in that game. But yeah, Colts get the winner. How do you think this shakes out in this game, Christian, with Danny Dodds, who you're very familiar with at the quarterback position?
I am. Anyway, I like
Well,
Miami. I like Miami. Tyreek Hill always seems to just ball out in week one. Did it a couple years ago against the Los Angeles Chargers. Had that little issue last year going to the game where he was, pulled over by the police. And I think he had a pretty big game last year. And I think he does that as well. I just don't think the Colts have an answer for Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. I could see both of them having very big games and Tua having a big game as well. I like Miami.
Yeah, I'm taking the Miami Dolphins, and this is going to be my first lock of the week.
There you go.
I have no faith whatsoever in the Indianapolis Colts, and literally anything they're doing right now, running the franchise, or literally the people like their defense isn't that good, their offense stinks. Like they may be the worst team in the NFL right now. And the problem is they may be the worst team in the NFL, but they may win more games than they should. I still think that Shane Steichen, I still think he's a pretty good head coach. But Colts are just a mess. And then until they fire the GM, it's going to stay this way. Chris Ballard should.
Oh God. This fucking team. If there was ever a team to bank on, to bet on to potentially be worse than the New Orleans Saints, it's the Colts. Again, me and Christian know a guy who talks shit about Caleb Williams like it's his job, but dude, your quarterback is either Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, depending on the Sunday. I mean, hey, if those are my options, I'll stick to talking shit about other teams' quarterbacks too, right, Christian? There's no reason why the Dolphins shouldn't win this game. Speaking of coaches on the hot seat,
Mike McDaniel.
Speaking of the hot seat,
I mean, both the coaches in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if they were the first coaches fired.
Speaking of the hot seat,
Yeah.
Come on, man. Miami should win this one. Going away.
Moving on from there, we got the New England Patriots taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, but this game is in Foxborough. It's the first game of the Mike Vrabel, Pete Carroll eras on their respective franchises. Year 2 for Drake May, Geno Smith suiting up for the first time in a Raiders jersey in a game that matters. I'm taking the Patriots to win this game. But I think this is one of those coin flip games because I think the Patriots, given what they did in free agency this season, I do think they're going to be better than they were last year. And I think the weapons, Travion Henderson should be a monster his first season in the NFL. Look for him to kind of take over that job from his name is escaping now. But they're running back, their go-to running back they have right now. I'll take the Patriots. Also, last time these two teams played 2 years ago, Las Vegas got the edge 21-17. Starting quarterbacks for both those teams, Mac Jones and Jimmy Garoppolo.
All right, you want me to go?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I like New England. I'm pretty high on them. I told TJ this throughout the offseason. I thought they had the best offseason out of any other team in the league because they had money and they spent it and they addressed key areas. Address that defense. This was the most I've seen a Belichick-like defense, and he's not there. You know what I'm saying? They got a great corner in Carlton Davis. He brings championship experience and pedigree. Same with Milton Williams in the middle. Mike Vrabel is a Belichick disciple. They finally got a weapon for Drake May and Stephon Cardi Diggs. Travion Henderson out the backfield. They got Will Campbell in the draft. So they addressed particular needs and issues. The Raiders, don't get me started. Give me New England all day.
I'm also going with New England. The Christian Wilkins experience failed. Then you got that one Raider fan that me and Christian always talk about, acting like he was Nostradamus, talking about something. Oh, I knew this was gonna fail. Nah, bro, you hyped that shit up like the rest of us did. It's okay. What'd you say?
He ain't no shit.
Right, exactly. He another one that takes shots at Caleb Williams. Like, bro, you're literally gonna be fishing for a quarterback in a year, maybe 2. So knock it
The
off.
other problems I have with the Raiders, right, is like they just bring in Amari Cooper earlier this week or late last week. Jacoby Myers is requested a trade, so not sure what his status is going to be. I mean, Brock Bowers and Trey Tucker are basically your only really field position that has any real experience. And Ashley Jetsy's a rookie. I mean, like,
Right, they got two tight ends and
Michael
Brock
Mayer
Bowers
Michael Mayer hasn't done anything.
and Mike. Right, they got two tight ends and Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer, and one of them is literally not even talked about. To my point, David forgot about Michael Mayer until I brought him up. Like, so it's basically all right. Let's contain Brock Bowers. Let's throw a chip on Max Crosby, and let's just play smart football because they're gonna do something to lose the game. And the Patriots have a team that's going. Christian might be higher on them than I am, and a lot of people are higher on the Patriots. They think they can sneak in and be a wild card team.
I'm not.
I'm not going that high, but I think they're gonna be a tough out. I think they're gonna frustrate a lot of people.
I think they're gonna take in the culture of their head coach. I think they're gonna be a tough team and they're gonna play hard. And I don't think the talent's there really at wide receiver for sure. Like I know they brought in Stephon Diggs coming off an ACL tear. I'm just not sure what he's gonna have left in the tank.
Right, so I'm going New England to win this one.
Moving on from there, we're going to swing into the NFC. This time we got the New Orleans Saints and the Arizona Cardinals. New Orleans Saints, it does seem like their Spencer Rattler is going to be the starting quarterback for the Saints to at least start the season. On the Arizona Cardinals, you got a lot of the familiar faces returning. Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. Also, they got Trey McBride, arguably the best tight end in the National Football League. And funny enough, the all-time series between these two football teams and franchises is locked up at 16 apiece wins. Whoever wins this game will have the edge. Last time these two teams played was 2 years ago in a barn burner. The Arizona Cardinals won that game 42-34 in an absolute shootout. Christian, what do you think is going to happen here in 2022? And are either of these football teams scoring 40 points in this game?
Cardinals for all three of us. Next game.
Who do you think the starting quarterback was for the Saints in that game in 2020?
I don't remember, but like I
don't
said,
care.
Cardinals. All three
Andy
of us.
Dalton. Dustin off Andy Dalton for a 361-point yard outage. Arizona Cardinals. Let's sleep it. Moving on from there, we're gonna swing into the AFC. They got two conference foes. We got Pittsburgh and the Jets. Aaron Rodgers returning to MetLife Stadium. Christian, what do you think the reception for Aaron Rodgers is going to be like when he's
going to get a reception?
Right.
I think he's going to get booed. I think it's going to be
more than likely.
I think there's going to be some heavy booing going on there. Like,
more than
but it's
likely.
also the Jets. Like, it's also Jets fans. Like, come on now.
Yeah, more than likely he'll get booed. But David, let's go.
Oh, you're previewing this game?
Yeah, man. Because listen, it's an intriguing match. Both quarterbacks switching sides. Yeah,
that's fair. All right, come on, let's go.
Go 1, 2, 3.
Shameless plug number 3, baby.
Yeah, the Jets. Look, they've been here before. New head coach. There's somewhat of optimism. They're here right now, and then they'll be on the other side of that meme when, as the season goes on. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game in 10 years. The last time the Steelers won a playoff game, Ben Roethlisberger was the starting quarterback. Antonio Brown had all his brain cells, kind of, sort of.
Is the last game they won that game against Natty? With that Montez
yeah, that was the last one that they won. And I had hair. Now I don't. I preview this one tomorrow. Be on the lookout.
Last time these two teams played was last season. The Pittsburgh put a stomping on the New York Jets, 37-15. with both those teams kind of going in 5-2 for the Steelers, 2-5 for the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, starting quarterbacks for those football teams respectively. I'll take the Steelers. The Jets I think are a dumpster fire of a franchise right now. I don't think they have a good offensive line. I do think there's some talent there on their offensive line, but I mean I think Bryce Hall has kind of regressed in the last couple of seasons. So I'll take the Steelers. I'm not, I'm out on the Jets. I just think they're terrible. They're going to continue not to win playoffs or not to make the playoffs again. Yeah, it's going to be a tough season.
That's how I feel about New England. I mean, not New England, Pittsburgh. So let me get this straight. You had ample opportunity to draft Shador Sanders or any other quarterback coming out, but you didn't because you just banked on Aaron Rodgers showing up, who eventually did show up, but didn't take a snap in preseason because he too is old. But
41
Ryan
years,
Clark, huh?
41 years old.
But Ryan Clark, I mean, when I say old, he's NFL old. He's athlete old. But Ryan Clark goes to a Steelers practice and he's like, oh man, Aaron Rodgers is zipping the ball like it's 2010 because no one's hitting him. They're not trying to hit him because he can take all day to throw the damn ball. So yeah, he's gonna look great. I bet Tim Boyle looks good too when no one's pressuring him.
Maybe not.
So like that being said, like teams like the Saints, and I hate to do this to Mike Tomlin, but y'all kind of you're gonna get what you deserve this season, and it's not gonna be pretty. It's gonna be ugly, and this legit might be like one of the ugliest games on the slate week one because it's two defensive-minded dudes. It's that 16-10 score that David mentioned. What was that? The Colts and the Dolphins a year or
Yeah.
so ago.
Yeah.
That legit might be the count for this one. Like this might be it. That might be the score. I'm riding with the Jets.
I tend to. Are you taking the Jets?
I'm taking the Jets.
Ooh, I like that because I hate Aaron Rodgers. Like I almost want to do
No,
that.
like Pittsburgh's had offensive line issues for how many years? Have they really addressed it? No.
From there, we go swinging in the NFC. Two division rivals going head to head. The New York Football Giants, Christian New York Football Giants, going into Maryland. Yeah, Maryland, where the Washington Commanders play. Obviously, busy offseason for both of these teams. Obviously, Russell Wilson starting quarterback for the New York Giants. They also drafted Jackson Dart. And then it's year number 2 from league neighbors in that offense. Also, year number 2 for Tyron Tracy, who was a really breath of fresh air at that running back for the Giants. And then Abdul Carter, obviously, was their second first-round pick, or they were just their first-round pick in the draft. So interesting stuff going on for the Giants. For the Commanders, it's going to be year number 2 for Jaden Daniels. They bring in Deebo Samuel. They bring in Laramie Tunsil. Kind of drew up this defense a little bit as well with Von Miller in the house now. Christian, how do you got this shaking out? Giants, Commanders.
I like the Commanders in this one. I just think they're the far more established team, but I do think the Giants are going to keep it close. I think that defense is going to get after Jaden Daniels, but man, it's going to be an interesting game because like a lot of people have been impressed with the Giants in the preseason, but okay, the preseason and the regular season are two completely different things. I like the Commanders to start out 1-0.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Commanders. Although I do think there's some intrigue there for the Giants with the offense. Tyron Tracy should be a dynamic player in the running game and in the passing game. I think the league neighbors takes a massive step in year number 2, but I just don't think they have enough to really challenge the Commanders, who've done a good job really retooling his roster while they have a quarterback who's not a team-friendly kind. TJ.
All right, Washington, do it again. Nothing. Just real quick, like nothing irks my soul more than putting a one-time a one-time sensation in the top anything So they want to put Jaden Daniels in the top 5. Y'all, all right. I hope they know what comes from being in the top 5.
Do it again.
Yeah,
Do it again.
as TJ always says. Moving on from there, we got one of the only two teams that are not in the same conference going up against each other this weekend. We start with the first one with the Carolina Panthers going down to Duval County, taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars in a what is going to be a make and break quarter season for both of these quarterbacks, for both of these franchises when it comes to Bryce Young and Sunshine Trevor Lawrence. If you do not get it right this season, you'll probably both be out of the, at least out of your respective team, if not out of the NFL entirely. Not Trevor Lawrence. I don't know, but I think that there's going to be a lot of scrutiny on both of these quarterbacks as they go through this season. Last time these two teams played was 2 years ago. Christian, do you remember who won that game 2 years ago on New Year's Eve?
I think it was Carolina, because that's when Jacksonville went on that losing streak to close out the season.
That is incorrect.
Really?
Actually, the Jacksonville Jaguars shut out the Panthers 26-0 behind 4 Brandon McManus field goals of 35, 26, and 24 yards and 34. And starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars in that game was as a C.J. Beathard. And Bryce Young, obviously, for the Panthers as they come up short. Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's call it they got blown out. But who wins in this game in a make or break season for both of these franchises? With Liam Cohen, new head coach in Jacksonville, and David, his name is escaping me right now, but
Dave Canales.
Yeah, Canales for the Carolina Panthers, year number 2.
I'm actually going Carolina here. There's nothing that gravitates attention to Jacksonville right now. Yeah, I think Carolina can do just enough to squeak away with a victory.
I'm going to take the Jaguars. I'm just going to roll the dice. On the prediction show, I had Brian Thomas Jr. winning Offensive Player of the Year. I think he puts up crazy numbers this season. I'm gonna take the Jaguars, but I think this is another one of those games. Absolute coin flip. It literally could go either way. TJ.
This game could absolutely go either way. Oh my God. I, on the other hand, took a bold prediction, Christian, and I said Travis Hunter is going to win both Offensive Rookie and Defensive Rookie of the Year. I was halfway joking, but not really. I think this is going to be a good game for him to showcase his ability to play both sides of the ball, because J.C. Horn is going to be guarding Brian Thomas Jr., who's DB2 in Carolina.
Hold on. I'll find out.
That's a legit question. Who's DB2 in Carolina?
Yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah, true.
And then he's going to be lined up across from
Mike Jackson.
who?
Yeah, Mike Jackson.
Then he's going to be lined up across from who's likely going to be another rookie in Ted McMillan. And we're going to go from there. So I think this is going to be a good game for Travis Hunter to showcase why he's Travis Hunter.
And Ted McMillan is basically going to be basically wide receiver 1 for the Panthers this season. Xavier Legette didn't really show anything in this first season really warrant being wide receiver 1. And Jalen Coker is going to be out here, I think. So for at least a while. And obviously they traded Adam Thielen over.
I'm gonna take the Jags. I think Trevor Lawrence makes a play that Bryce Young doesn't make yet. So yeah, give me the Jags.
Also, so those two franchises are actually tied up in their all-time series at 4 games apiece. So this will be the rubber matchup between those two franchises. Both got their start and played 4 times. Moving on to the next game on the docket, we got the Denver Broncos and the Tennessee Titans locking horns. We got Cam Ward for the Titans making his debut in the NFL. A game that matters. And then in Denver, Obviously, we have PS2 reigning Defensive Player of the Year and Bo Nix going into his second season after being kind of a shocking playoff team last season for the Denver Broncos. Last time these two teams played 3 years ago, where the Denver Titans actually got the edge 17-10. And shockingly enough, Derrick Henry did not have a touchdown in that game, and he was kept mostly under wraps. But Derrick Henry ain't walking through that door in this version of the Tennessee Titans. Neither is Melvin Gordon with the Denver Broncos. TJ, how do you got this shaking out? Denver Titans.
This is not the defense you want to see as your welcome to the NFL moment if you're Cam Ward. This is arguably the best defense in football. This is a dark horse Super Bowl team. And you went mile high? And I also think don't get me wrong, like Tennessee, they got a sneaky good defense too. That secondary is tough. But I think you're gonna see the difference between a player with 1 year worth of NFL experience and the guy that's gonna be a rookie. Like you're gonna see the stark difference between Bo Nix and Cam Ward. Give me Denver.
This is also going to be my second lock of the week, as I have two of them. I'm also taking the Denver Broncos. I think the defense is just going to be too much for Cam Ward in his first NFL start. Especially, I think the offensive line for the Titans, even though J.C. Latham should take a massive step forward in his second season in the NFL. But I'll take Denver. It is my second lock of the week. Christian.
Yeah, I like Denver in this one as well. But I want to give a huge shout out to a wide receiver on Tennessee. He goes by the name of Bryce Oliver. My cousin actually is his agent. So huge shout out to Bryce and huge shout out to my cousin / big brother Sean. Yeah, and I hope he has a really good year. But look, sorry, I love you, Cam, but just being in this situation, having to go to the West Coast and to play that stingy Denver defense, yeah, this won't be pretty. Give me Denver.
Yeah, this is gonna be ugly, man.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. Moving into the NFC now as we start to wrap up the early slate of games or the late afternoon slate of games. First, we got the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to try to bounce back after a very rough 24-25. They did lose some major pieces on their defense, including Deebo Samuel on offense, but Trey Greenlaw, Televunu Fanga, not walking through that door for the San Francisco 49ers. But they did add Brian Robinson to get more running back depth, and they're hoping to get more value out of Christian McCaffrey this season. He only played 4 games last year. On the Seattle side, Geno Smith out, Sam Darnold in, DK Metcalf out, so the Tyler Lockett out as well. So the Seahawks, they're very different looking offense for the Seattle Seahawks. Kind of expected them to run the football more effectively this season or be more committed to it than they have in years past. TJ, how do you got this going down? 49ers, Seahawks, a lot of change. Both of these franchises going into the match.
All right, so Sam Darnold got the bag. You got to show why you got the bag. You have to prove that last season wasn't a fluke. Like, imagine being in year whatever Sam Darnold is in. What's that, year 9? Is it year 9 for Sam Darnold? Maybe 10?
I think it's like 8 or 9.
8 or 9? And
he was drafted in 25th, or no, 27th. So he was drafted in 27th.
Okay, 27. So what's that?
I can't do that math right now. But
it's 28. So yeah, 8. Yeah, year 8. And imagine if you being in year 8 and having to be like, all right, do it again. Like, do it again, bro. Like that's crazy, but he earned that bag he got. And it's gonna be tough because for the first time, like DK Metcalf ain't walking on the field with a Seahawks quarterback. He makes jobs a lot easier.
I also think that like there's gonna be like a different dynamic. Like every like the last 5 seasons, right? There was no expectation. Sam Darnold wasn't playing with any expectations, right? The fact that like if he even got on the field and he played a little bit, that was kind of a victory for Sam Darnold. But now he's going to a situation where he's going to have they're going to be expecting like similar stats to what he put up in Minnesota last season. And I got bad news for you, Sam Darnold. Joseph Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and like Kalen,
TJ Hawkinson.
DJ Hawkinson, they're not walking through that door in Seattle. I mean, you got JSN, who's a good wide receiver, but outside of that, I mean, your tight end, I'm not even sure who it is. I know Afon's no longer there. I'm not sure who's outside. I mean, I got Jake Bobo, but he's more of a meme than he is an actual wide receiver in the NFL. I think Sam Darnold might struggle, like especially with the expectations he's going to have to deal with now. The fact that he got the bag and you were basically picked over Geno Smith in this scenario. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. That's all fair points, right? Sam Darnold's history is not working in his favor in this case. So you have to ask yourself, which Sam Darnold are we getting? Are we getting last year's Sam Darnold, or are we got the Sam Darnold they got ran out of New York all those years ago? Like, which Sam Darnold showing up? This is also a tough team to try to have that prove it moment against. You're gonna see them again. This is also a 49ers team that's slightly pissed off. They're not being written about favorably, like favorably this season. It's ugly out west. Ayuk, that situation was ugly. Debo's
And yeah,
gone.
and Brandon Ayuk is expected to start the season on the PUP list. I mean, their wide receiving core right now in San Francisco is kind of a mess. You got Ricky Pearsall, who's probably their wide receiver one, at least going into this game. They're not sure if Juwan Jennings is going to play. Brandon Ayuk sure won't play. And then you got Demarcus Robinson, who you brought in the free agency. He's not going to play the first 3 games of the season. Outside, I mean, the wide receiving core for the 49ers, not great.
It's
One of their
ugly,
saving graces, I guess, is that they have, when healthy, still arguably the most versatile running back in the NFL. And when healthy, they have the most versatile tight end. So,
and the backup and the guy they got to spell that running back is also a very good running back in his own right, and Brian Robinson Jr.
and I mean, Isaiah Garendo just came back from injury too. Like, he's a good running back when he's healthy. So yeah, he basically made Jordan Mason completely expendable, which is why he's a Viking. With all that being said, I'm going to take the 49ers. I don't know if it's a little bit of this kind of being in San Francisco rubbing off on me, but I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to bounce back in a big way. I expect it to be a 10, 11. So, because this division is kind of all over the place every season. Like, I never know what to expect from any of these 4 teams in this division, including the season.
I'm gonna go with Seattle. I think we're gonna get a good look at why is his name escaping me? Brock Purdy without some of those big weapons. And again, this is a quarterback who has a lot more to prove this season than Caleb Williams does. But he wasn't even on the list. Brock Purdy got the bag. He lost. He's down his top weapon. The other weapon won't be there. And George Kittle is gonna.
I mean, you could make the argument that Brock Purdy is going to be down his top 3 weapons, or at least wide receiving weapons from last season. Juwan Jennings not expected to play. Brandon Ayuk not expected to play. Deebo Samuel in one.
Like this is how valuable Juwan Jennings is to that team. If the Niners beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, he's Super Bowl MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he got a touchdown through another.
He's Super Bowl MVP. He was the best offensive player on the field for the 49ers in that Super Bowl. I'm going with Seattle. I just think this is going to be Brock Purdy's first time without some of those key weapons that he's dependent on since he's been there, and I think he struggles with that fact.
Christian.
Man, I was so back and forth.
Right.
When I was picking it on Monday evening quarterback, because I remember saying Seattle has to come out and they have to reassert themselves and their dominance at home, because they struggled at home last year a lot. Teams went in there and took their lunch money. San Francisco, when they're healthy, I feel the biggest threat to them in the NFC is themselves. Plain and simple. Both these quarterbacks have something to prove. I echo TJ's sentiments 100% on Sam Darnold. Now you got to go out and prove it. Last year was your audition tape. Now you got to go out and show me something. Show me why you got that cheese. I'm gonna go San Francisco because they always seem to play Seattle tough in Seattle.
Moving on to a division rival in the NFC North, and with both at least one of these teams making major news in the last week, we got the Detroit Lions with the return of Aiden Hutchinson, which should be a potential DPOY candidacy for him going into Lambeau and taking on Micah Parsons and the newly looked Green Bay Packers. As Micah Parsons should have something to say about who takes home DPOY this season. I also think that the addition of Micah Parsons should have Rashawn Gary a lot more single teams on the other side. We're adding for all crazy dynamic for Green Bay Packers this game as the Lions continue their dominance of the NFC North. They've won the division the last 2 seasons. But are the Packers going to have anything to say about this? Christian, we got one coming up?
No, I previewed this one yesterday. I like the Lions. They are, I think, just the far more established team, and they're out to prove something too, as they lost both coordinators. And I don't think people realize how difficult it is to move forward without either coordinator. I just think they play Green Bay tough, and they've really been dominating at Lambeau, and I think it continues again. I think it'll be a close game, like a 28-23 or 28-24 battle.
As much as so, Packers are another the pressure. Like we talked about this a little bit last week, TJ. Like the pressure that adding Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers puts on Jordan Love to take his game to another level. Because being frank, he's been kind of just game manager-ish over the last couple seasons, where they don't ask him to win them a lot of games because they run the ball so effectively with Josh Jacobs. But now, like with Micah Parsons on this team, your ceiling is quote unquote being raised, and they're going to expect more out of Jordan Love than they have in past seasons to take them to another level. I'm not sure he's ready to do that. I'm not sure this offense is ready. Like their wide receivers have a lot of question marks. Jaden Reed has got a high ankle sprain, or might be something in his foot that's broken. That who knows. Matthew Golden is a rookie. Romeo Dobbs, dealing with concussions issues at least the last couple seasons. So hopefully he has a clean bill of health this year. Lions, you're going into the season healthy. I still think they have still some question marks when it comes to their defense. This offense, even though they did lose one of their offensive linemen who retired a couple weeks ago, I'll take the Lions. But this is a game that's going to be very close. I can see it going.
Okay, so Dave, I said it last week, the potential DPOY stuff for Aiden Hutchinson. I blame Adrian Peterson for all of that. That is all AP's fault. Because every time somebody comes back from a significant injury and they're that caliber of a player, they're just expecting them to be great one season afterwards. And that's Adrian Peterson's fault. Adrian Peterson tore ACL, came back, and was like, I'm still Adrian MF and Peterson. And he's been the last skilled player to win an MVP. That was it. That was the last one. Aiden Hutchinson, I said the only award he may win is Comeback Player of the Year. Like to go from, because we got to keep in mind, there's a metal rod in his leg. You don't just bounce back from that. Are they glad to have him back? Hell yeah, absolutely. That being said, it's still gonna be tough. They've always played the Packers tough, even when they were terrible. Even when the Lions were bottom of the barrel, they always played the Packers tough. That being said,
go ahead, TJ.
On the other side, you good? On the other side, the guy the Packers is traded for, he needs an epidural shot in his neck in order to play. And if I'm the
I think that's a
massive. If I'm the Packers, I wouldn't even play him. I wouldn't play Michael Parsons week 1. That's just me. I wouldn't do it. I halfway think the only reason they are doing it, outside of the fact that they paid him that boatload of money is because of who they're playing. I guarantee you, if this was Packers Saints Week 1, Micah Parsons is not playing.
I agree. But
Yeah.
I also want to, elaborate on something David said about the Packers offense. I think they need to lean on Josh Jacobs a little bit more, if you ask me.
Even more?
Yeah, even more, because good things happen when he touched the ball. And I'll also say this. I think this game is more important for Green Bay because Green Bay was absolutely terrible in the division last year. They went 1-5.
They were a block field goal away from being swept in the division,
Yeah,
yes.
they were. I mean, they beat the Bears. Sorry, guys. They beat the Bears in that one game. They lose both to the Lions. They lose both to Minnesota. And then they end the year losing to the Bears. And look, the Lions are going to come back strong. They're going to come back healthy. Aiden Hutchinson is back, like TJ pointed out. Yeah, this is a tough game out the gate for Green Bay. This is why I decided to pick the Lions to win this game.
Moving on from there, we got the second of the AFC NFC matchups: the Los Angeles Rams and the Houston Texans. A lot of questions about Matthew Stafford's health for the Los Angeles Rams. On the Texans side, year 3 for C.J. Stroud. Now that they have traded away their best offensive lineman in Laramie Tunsil. Stephon Diggs is no longer there. Tank Dell probably won't play this season at all.
Ain't no probably he's not. There's no probably about it.
They have added Christian Kirk. They had drafted Jaden Higgins in the second round of the NFL draft, a guy I'm pretty high on. If you're a fantasy player, he should be somebody you roster in your leagues. But the last time these two teams played, the Rams got the edge 38-22. This game was 4 years ago, so as far back as it can go for two teams to play against each other in a matchup. With that being said, there's so much uncertainty surrounding Matthew Stafford. I know he's practicing a little bit, but he hasn't played a snap in the preseason. They're adding a Devontae Adams to this offense, losing Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua is expected to take another step forward. I'm going to take the Houston Texans in kind of a mini upset, if you consider that an upset.
I'm just trying to think about some real quick. So this is Matthew Stafford. All right, so Calvin Johnson, Odell, Cooper Kupp, Nate Burleson. Didn't he throw the ball to Golden Tate too? Like one, yeah.
Golden Tate was in New York and Detroit when he was there, yeah.
But no, one Stafford and Golden Tate teammates at once upon a time.
Yeah, in Detroit. Yeah, in Detroit.
Yeah, right. Now you add now you can add Puka Nacua to that mix too. And now you add Devontae Adams. Like, bro, Matthew Stafford, like the receivers you throwing the ball to, my boy. Man, what a collection you got there. But much like Pittsburgh, it's kind of different though, because Matthew Stafford knows Sean McVay's system. He just needs to develop that rapport with Devontae Adams. And while he did do stuff in training camp, he didn't do gameplay stuff like preseason game stuff. So, yeah, I'm gonna take the Texans in you said it's a slight upset. Can you call it an upset? Is it an upset?
Would it be an upset? I don't know. I mean, I think that it's close. I mean, this game's in SoFi Stadium, beautiful SoFi Stadium, there in California. I think the expectation. I don't know. Do you consider? I consider that an upset. I think the Rams. I think the consensus opinion on the Rams is higher than the consensus opinion on the Texans.
I mean, I'll say this. I mean, like to boost your point, of the Rams being an upset alert. Laramie Tunsil is gone, right? Yeah. The Rams front seven has been lauded as like one of the best young fronts in football, and they have a damn good young front. Like they definitely do. The Rams are projected to win this game.
But also, I mean, the Houston Texans running back situation is kind of a mess right now too. Joe Mixon starting the season on the PUP list. Going to miss the 4 weeks, at least the first 4 games of the season. They're being real hush hush about what his injury is.
Okay, I think if this is a close game, I'm going with the Rams. I think if the Texans don't come out the gate and and jump on them, the Rams gonna win this game.
But yeah, I'm taking the Texans. Christian.
Okay.
Man, this is another one that can go either way. This is
Either
another
way.
one I was conflicted on when I was picking games on the first episode of Monday Evening Quarterback.
Shameless plug right there.
Here we go. You already know. D'Amico Ryans knows Sean McVay's system because who did he used to be the coordinator of? The defensive coordinator.
49ers.
The 49ers. So he's seen a lot of what Sean McVay wants to run. And to me, that's going to be the difference maker. I like Houston. I'm with David on this one. I just think across the board, Houston's a stronger team. And I want to see what CJ Stroud does. Last year, it was a mess. And did that offensive line, is it better now than what it was last season? Because CJ was running for his life.
Moving
that's
on.
A lot of pressure, bro. Like you were real quick. Like you drafted a rookie left tackle to replace an All-Pro caliber in Larry Tunsil. That's a lot of. Not just a rookie. You was a second round pick, bro.
Yeah,
so,
I mean they also brought in Cam Robinson to be kind of an insurance blanket, but he's been one of those journeyman offensive tackles. Just been like, you're the just in case guy if it doesn't work out with the guy you want to be the tackle.
Yeah.
But and Tyus Howard on the other side, right tackle, I don't think he's that good either. So
I'm going with the Rams. I will ride that hill. I'll fall on that sword by myself.
moving on from there, we got a rematch of one of the AFC divisional round between the Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. Also a matchup by the guys who won the last two MVPs of the National Football League. Also the two guys that finished 1 and 2 in the MVP vote this most recent season, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. We got the Buffalo Bills and the Ravens going head to head. This one is in Orchard Park. Christian.
Come on, David. Let's close this out. Let's do it. TJ, I might need you too. See, he's so ignorant. You see how he don't say nothing?
Come on, let's go.
1, 2, 3.
Shameless plug number 4, baby.
The minute I saw,
see,
he's so damn ignorant. I'm gonna deal with him after the show. But
I ain't saying nothing wrong.
Yes, you did. You always. The minute I saw this game on the schedule, when the schedule release was aired, I'm like, man, I cannot wait to get my hands on this one. All these months later, here we go. And remember, these two teams played each other twice last year. The first time was in Baltimore, and Baltimore just ran the football down their throat until Buffalo just pretty much surrendered and waved the white flag at the end of the day. Then Buffalo made those adjustments in the playoff game. They were physical. And TJ, what do I always say? The what don't like getting bullied?
Bully don't like being bullied.
Bully don't like to get bullied. Man, what a game that was. That's one of the best playoff games I've ever previewed and I've ever seen. For Lamar to drive the ball down the field the way he did, and then Mark Andrews just dropped that pass when, it's that 2-point conversion. That was so heartbreaking. And this is a game that Baltimore has had circled on their calendar. I previewed this one Sunday night, an hour before the game. Be on the lookout.
Baltimore Ravens lead the all-time series over the Buffalo Bills 7-6. The Baltimore Ravens have scored 71 more points than the Buffalo Bills in their 13 all-time matchups. Ravens 287, Buffalo Bills 206. I think this is going to be the game where the Buffalo Bills lock up that series at 7 games apiece. I got the Bills. But this is another one, an absolute coin toss. If this was in Baltimore, I would take the Ravens, but it's in Orchard Park with those crazy Bills fans. Give me the Bills.
Okay. Wait. You got the MVP versus the guy that should have won the MVP. No disrespect to Josh Allen.
No, he should have. That guy got it.
Anyway,
What I said.
Wow. Ravens. All right. I get what Christian was saying. Like the Ravens have had this game circled on their calendar since last season, but beating Buffalo at this time and point means nothing because it ain't the same game. It's just a regular season game. These two dudes are no longer measured by regular season success. Like everything that they do in the regular season is literally just the icing on the cake. Every award is just, oh, that's expected. Like when they're finalists for the MVP or Offensive Player of the Year, it's almost like, oh, that's what's expected of you. They asked a question. I forgot which sports show it was. I think it was First Take. It might have been. They asked, who needs a ring more? Is it Lamar? Is it Josh Allen? Or is it Joe Burrow? And I'm here to tell you right now, if Lamar Jackson wins a championship, do you know how high on the Mount Rushmore or on the top all-time QB list he jumps to? Do you know how high he jumps?
Well, I think he for sure clears in the top 10 somewhere.
David, he might clear top 5 if he gets a ring.
Maybe.
To the right, because think about it. He's a better runner than Michael Vick ever was.
And he's a better passer at this age than Michael Vick was.
Ever was.
He saw.
Right, so like consensus top 5. Like this is just off Google, just Googling it. Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, Dan Marino, Aaron Rodgers. I think you could make a legitimate argument that if Lamar Jackson wins the Vince Lombardi Trophy, you put him at 5. Like he's right after Patrick Mahomes, between Dan Marino and Patrick. He wins the Lombardi Trophy.
If he wins the Vince Lombardi Trophy, I think he takes Marino's spot in that top 5.
I mean, there's also Elway. I think Elway is still also like I would take Elway's career over Lamar Jackson just to this point. I would probably take Drew Brees' career over Lamar Jackson at this point.
I think
that's close. I mean,
but like Drew Brees is one of those dudes where it's like he was just sandwiched in the era that he played in. Like, I say it about Phillip Rivers all the time. Like Phillip Rivers has Hall of Fame quote unquote numbers, but he ain't gonna get in because of who he played, who the quarterbacks in his era.
Phillip Rivers will.
Nah, Phillip Rivers is getting in.
Yeah, he'll be all.
I don't think he'll get in. Like because the numbers are there, but the accolades ain't. Like you give that. That's what I'm getting at.
We can have this conversation. That's a conversation for another night. Phillip Rivers is
Lamar Jackson is one Lombardi Trophy away from surpassing Dan Marino in greatest of all time. You might argue some might put him up there with Aaron Rodgers, like because Aaron Rodgers has played as long as he's played. He only has the one. He's only been to one.
He's only going to get the one.
He's only going to get to one. And if Lamar Jackson, how many MVPs he got? 2 to Aaron Rodgers, what 4?
Yeah. But I mean, Lamar Jackson still got 10 years of his NFL career. I mean, he could in theory pick up another MVP.
I wanna say this. These teams are a lot more similar than I think a lot of people realize, and the reason why I say that is because you have both coaches who aren't necessarily offensive-minded guys, but they overcompensate the use of their quarterbacks. And I'll explain what I mean. Baltimore, there's no way that Derrick Henry should have been on the sideline in that final drive of that divisional round game against Buffalo. And, I've said it about Buffalo for years with Josh Allen. Yeah, they've leaned off of him a lot. Yeah, they've established James Cook a little bit more, but James Cook pretty much had that game that AFC Championship game in the bag last year against Kansas City, and then they just took him out, and they didn't even decide to give him the ball again because they put all that pressure on Josh Allen just to take the game over. So I think this game comes down to which quarterback plays hero ball the least.
Give me the Ravens to take this one in Orchard Park.
And then final game of the docket We got the Minnesota Vikings coming into Soldiers Field and taking on mine and TJ Chicago Bears. A lot of very different looking Minnesota Vikings team. Sam Darnold out. J.J. McCarthy now the starting quarterback of that football team on the Bears side. Did a good job bolstering up this offensive line in the offseason. Added Luther Burden III, which should be a nice addition to this passing game. And Ben Johnson, the head coach of the Chicago Bears, with Matt Eberflus being shown his walking papers after that abysmal game on Thanksgiving last year. Gentlemen, Bears, Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, Caleb Williams. Who do you got, TJ?
I'm gonna go with the Bears on some non-biased stuff. I think JJ McCarthy again. This for what it's worth. That Bears defense is tough. Like that secondary can cause a lot of teams problems. Jalen Johnson is one of the top premier corners in the league. Tyreek Stevenson, minus the Hail Mary snafu, had a good second year. It was just overshadowed by one of the dumbest plays in NFL history. Jaquan Brisker, when healthy, straight headhunter. You know you're going to get hit when you see Jaquan Brisker coming towards you. And Kevin Byard is a more than serviceable enough free safety. And he's a ball hog. That front could be a little better. You're still looking for that guy opposite of Montez Sweat. But you do have two. You have Montez Sweat, and you got Javon Dexter plugging up the middle. Like, I just want people to look at Javon, like, before he got injured last year, Javon Dexter and what his name? Big homie from Philly, not Jordan Davis.
Jalen Carter.
Huh? Not Jordan Davis.
Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter. Yeah, their numbers were very similar at that point. Jalen Carter just played on a better team. Jordan Addison is gone for the first. Is it 3 or 6?
It's 3.
First 3 games. Either way, he ain't playing this game. What's Justin Jefferson? They talking about him taking the shot so he can play.
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy. Yeah, JJ McCarthy is probably he's gonna have Justin Jefferson, but just how healthy is Justin Jefferson gonna be? So it's gonna be a lot of Aaron Jones in this game. Brian Flores is still on the other side. We know what defense he likes to do. It's gonna be a lot of blitzing. It's gonna be a lot of that. So Caleb Williams got to be smart. Got to know when to get rid of the ball. Talk about hero ball, Christian. There's somebody that needs to know when not to play hero ball. It's okay to throw the ball away and live to play another down. 2nd and 10 is a lot better than 2nd and 24.
I agree.
Get rid of the ball. Give me the Bears to kick off the season with a W on Monday night.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Bears. I think the Bears are going to be a much improved football team. I had them making the playoffs as a wild card team. I did the previews on Thursday. I'm concerned about Minnesota. I would have liked to have seen J.J. McCarthy play a little bit more in the preseason. He played basically one series, played pretty lackluster, mediocre. I think if you're Minnesota, I think you'd want to get him many reps as possible. But maybe they've seen enough of him in practice. They don't need to see him in the actual game action. But yeah, we'll see. Kevin O'Connell is one of the better coaches in the NFL. He proved that last season by elevating that team and elevating Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold should be thinking Kevin O'Connell always lucky stars. They got the bag that he's got right now. But I'll take the Bears to win that game. Christian.
Man, this is another one. I feel that you could flip that coin, and you're not wrong with either choice. For your guys' sake, I really want the Bears to do something because, look, TJ can tell you I was a little bit of a douche the other day, trolling him about Micah Parsons and all that. TJ, you could say I was disrespectful, though.
But here's the thing, I just didn't care. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Christian, to your point, Did some jackasses on Chicago radio absolutely panic? Yeah, they did, because they don't know any better. Like they're saying Ryan Poles messed this up. I just want people to know, y'all, that they say that just goes to show me that they don't know how NFL money works. The money we potentially could have had for Michael Parsons if we were in the running, guess where it went? It went to Montez Sweat, it went to Jalen Johnson, it went to Drew Dahlman, it went to the right guard we paid, it went to Joe Tooney, it went to literally everybody that we brought in, and some of the guys we brought in who you would kill Ryan Poles for if he didn't bring them in.
I mean, on top of that, I mean, not to get on a tangent here, but like the Bears would have had to have traded something tangible back for Micah Parsons. Like, I just don't think the Bears have the player on the roster that Dallas.
So
is
like,
yeah,
this guy, this clown for 670 to score. I would have traded Jalen Johnson at 2 first. No, you wouldn't have. Shut up. Like, I would have traded Montez Sweat in 2 first. So like, aren't you supposed to pair a Michael Parsons?
That's like
with
a lateral move.
a Montez Sweat? That's a lateral move. That defeats the purpose of trading for Michael Parsons.
I mean, you could, maybe you're going to give up with Javon Dexter, but I think you need him next season. You brought in Grady Jarrett. You can't trade him. You brought the dude from Indy, who I cannot pronounce right now. I'm going to try. I mean, there's nobody on this roster that if you're Dallas, that's what you would want back in the Michael Parsons trade. Like, they had to have a player that Dallas would want, and that's just how trades work.
And I say that all the time. You have to have something I want in order for the trade to work. If you ain't got what I want, or you're not going to give me what I want, we don't have a deal. We don't have a deal.
Christian, taking the Bears. You doing that for us?
No, I'm not. I'm taking Minnesota. Oh God, that was the greatest heel turn I think I've ever done on this damn show. But I'm taking Minnesota because I think Brian Flores, he's gonna throw a lot at Caleb Williams. I think he's one of the best defensive minds in our league. He's gonna throw stunts, he's gonna throw blitzes, he's gonna show a lot of pre-snap and then get out of that pre-snap and confuse him. Hey, I like Minnesota.
And with that being said, that's been our week 1 preview as we get into the 25-26 NFL season. If you like what we're doing here at Prime Sports World, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And if you like what Christian's doing over there, go check him out at the dailyblitz.blog, where he's posted regular content, breaking down all the major matchups, all season long in the National Football League, and breaking down some off-season stuff as only Christian Simpson can. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for checking us out here at Prime Sports World. Like, share, and subscribe. Gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We don't mess up the church's money.
Man, don't nobody give a damn about your money.
I'm David Huffman, DJ Hopkins, Christian Simpson. I'll be back here tomorrow doing Fantasy Football Weekly. So if you're going to get your fantasy football team ready to go, you're going to need to watch that show. We're going to go live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Keep an eye out for that content. You guys all have a good night. Stay safe out there. Take it easy, brothers.
See y'all.